Okay, there we go. All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. We got another truck talk video for you today. I want to talk about some things today. I got some topics. I got some interesting topics, I think. So, someone's car alarm just went off in the parking lot. Sorry, guys. And I'll say that right now. My apologies. If you guys can hear the air conditioner just pumping right now, it's Florida. It's warm. Y'all know the whole deal there. So I got the AC pumping right now. Okay, so today I want to talk about Bandai and content creators in general, just as a whole. We're going to talk about some stuff there. Then I want to talk about how other games support their content creators. Okay, I don't want this to come across too much as complaining, but I think y'all will see where I'm going with all that. And then, of course, or last but not least, I should say, commentating. We're going to talk about commentating as well for the final point. So let's do this, guys. Let's get right into it. And as usual, I'll have everything timestamped in the general description and all that good stuff. Okay, guys? If y'all have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comment section below or hop on the VV Theory Discord. Link will be in the channel description. Today's video is brought to you by Nin Garden, and pre-orders are now open for 4 new playmats, including Berserk, Absolute Ruler, Chaos Crew, and Green Fury. They also carry apparel, like the Kings of Heart tee and matching pin. Plus, for this month only, take part in their Halloween Mystery Playmat sale, which comes with 10 free card sleeves with your order. And don't forget to use the code, the VV Theory, at the checkout to get 8% off on your next order. All right, so let's do this, guys. Let's get right into it. First things first, I want to talk about Bandai and content creators. I'm going to tell you guys at least my relationship with Bandai when it comes to content creation. And my relationship to Bandai is I am just a customer to them. It doesn't matter that I'm a content creator currently. I think they might be changing that in the near future here. We're going to talk about that in today's video. That's the whole purpose of today's video. I don't want it to come across as me whining or anything like that, but hear me out, guys. I don't know how people feel about content creators on YouTube and stuff like that, but I have no connection with Bandai whatsoever. They're like a Japanese company anyway, right? So I have zero connections with Bandai themselves. They don't talk to me. They do not reach out to me. They've never done anything like that, okay? I don't believe they have any support programs, but I believe recently, if I can remember to edit this video and put it in at this exact point, they've recently reached out to another group of content creators here on YouTube in the One Piece space, and they've sponsored a video recently. So I think Bandai might be starting to reach out more to the community in the future. Maybe this was just a one-off thing. Who knows? I have no idea. I would love for Bandai to sponsor one of my videos. You know, it's one of those type of situations. I would love for them to sponsor multiple videos. I think the game's doing well enough, and I think Bandai's a big enough company where I wish they would do something like that. And again, I don't want this to come across as complaining, but just as something to look out for. That who knows? Maybe Bandai can do something like that in the future. I think that'd be really good for the space. I think that'd be really good for the community here on YouTube for the content creators. Because now I'm going to I had this as its own point, guys, but I want to talk about two things like simultaneously, and it's Bandai and the way they treat content creators, or, you know, just the lack of support, I'll call it, because I do think, let me just say that in general, I think there's a lack of support from Bandai when it comes to the content creators for their game, okay? I don't know about all the other games like Digimon and all that. I have to be honest, guys, I'm not sure. I'm going to talk mainly about One Piece specifically, but that's all under the Bandai umbrella, right? Like all these games are under the Bandai umbrella. So I want to kind of like talk about that simultaneously with another game, and that is Flesh and Blood. I've talked about this card game quite a few times. I think I've even mentioned Flesh and Blood quite a few times within these Truck Talk videos. And they came out with a program, I think it was at the beginning of this year or closer to the beginning of this year, 2025. And I will try to put a flyer up. Again, hopefully I remember to edit all this into my video afterwards. There's like a flyer that I got a while back showing that Flesh and Blood, which is run by LLS, Living Legend Studios, I think is the name of their company. Like there's Bandai to One Piece, and then there's Living Legend Studios to Flesh and Blood. They're like the parent company. Or maybe it's Legend Story Studios. It's either like Living Legend, whatever. It's LLS or LSS or something like that. I can't remember. Whatever the case is, they had a program just recently And understand they are a much smaller company than Bandai is, right? Flesh and Blood is a much smaller product than One Piece is. And they had the ability to have something at the beginning of this year at some time to basically give out $25,000 in grants to upcoming content creators. I think that's awesome. Okay, I think that is an amazing thing to offer as a company trying to push their game and showing their community that they care about their game. And I know some people are going to say, oh, well, I hate to break this to you, BB, but Bandai doesn't care. I get that, okay? I've heard many people say that. I don't, I've seen what you're saying. I understand where you're coming from, but that doesn't mean they can't change, right? Like, that's the one thing I want to really stress. And I think, I'm sure everyone here has heard the expression, the squeaky wheel gets the oil, right? Have you guys heard that expression? Or like the loudest voices get heard, right? However, it's some kind of expression like that. I try to get these expressions and I butcher them every time, but y'all get the idea, right? When there's more talk about something, when there's more complaining going on about a specific topic, well, that's probably what Bandai's going to hear the most and they're going to focus in on. And one thing I wish that Bandai would do, especially for like new and upcoming content creators and for the old ones too, is find some way to help them. So again, like I said, I had it broken into two different points, but I have to kind of combine them because now I have to go back to the first point. I feel like there are things that Bandai could do. I think there are things that Bandai could do. Let me say it like that. Not I feel. I really know there are things that Bandai could do that could actually help out the community so much, especially for the content creators. Because remember this, guys, at the end of the day, whenever I put out a video, name your favorite YouTube content creator, at least in One Piece, I don't know about for other games or whatever, or for other, topics and other categories. But remember this, guys, every single content creator, they just put out a video. And then YouTube pays us based on our ad revenue and things like that, right? Memberships, ad revenues, donations, if it's like a stream or whatever, things like that. It's not like Bandai pays us. We're basically advertising their game for free, right? And it would be really cool, it would be really nice if Bandai would support us in some way, right? Especially content creators, like I'm saying, and especially for the newer ones out there, for the young, the smaller content creators, give them some type of incentive to try to take their channels to the next level. And that's why I brought up the Flesh and Blood example. They're trying to, now I will say this, guys, to be fair, I think Flesh and Blood is kind of struggling a little bit. Not saying the game's dead or anything like that, but I think the game is struggling a little bit. I say that, but they just announced, I think they're going to be having I think they're going to be having like a $2 million Pro Tour circuit this year. So maybe they're not struggling at all. Who knows? But I know that's a good way to incentivize people to get into the game, is have bigger and bigger prize pools, right? So it's kind of smart, and it helps in both ways, right? If the game's struggling, well, maybe this will push people into the game, and also, of course, they can compete for that big prize, for big prizes. But hear me out. Flesh and Blood was doing this thing where they were offering basically $5,000 to 5 content creators that needed to level up their game. They were going to be in the form of $5,000 grants. I'm not saying Bandai needs to do all that, okay? Because I think Bandai is actually doing quite well right now. I don't think they have to push to those limits. Because like I said, that almost seems like a desperation play on Flesh and Blood's part. And I'm not trying to mock them or make fun of them. I think it's a cool game. But hear me out. Offering $5,000 to 5 lucky new up-and-coming content creators, that's a lot of money, guys. That's a lot of money. That helps out big time. But Bandai, I don't think they even have to do all that. I'm not asking for $5,000 from Bandai, guys. Don't get confused on what we're going for today. What I'm saying though is this: why can't Bandai, send out boxes to content creators? Like actual boxes of whatever the newest set is. Why can't, and by the way, like I was saying before, I'm sorry I'm all over the place today, guys, but like I was saying before, they're kind of doing that. And I'm going to try to remember to post something on that in this video, like, screenshot it somewhere, like put somewhere probably right around here, showing that Bandai has sponsored a video now for one of the content creators, which I think is really cool. I don't know how they got that set up, but I would like to see more of that, right? I have no idea how they got that going for them, but I would like to see more of that. But let me say it like this. The bare minimum that Bandai could do, think about it like this, guys. Whoops. Hang on, I got to adjust this. The bare minimum that Bandai could do is just like put our names somewhere, right? Like there's I think there's like a beginners page or like a new players page on their main site, on the One Piece English site, for example, because they have the English site, the Japanese site, and probably others. Well, on the English site, why can't they have under the new players tab, like, hey, do you want to take your game to the next level? Well, check out these content creators. You know, like just linking our names on there is like already good enough, right? That would already be something, and it would not cost them a penny. I don't know if there's some type of legal problems they'd be able to get into with that. I have no idea, but all they could do is ask us and be like, hey, do you mind if we put your name on here? Sure. You know, that'd be a thumbs up immediately, right? For probably any content creator would be okay with that, right? That's like one way they could help out the community with content creators. The other one, you know, that's like level one. That's the very least they could do, right? Is like plugging our channels. The next thing that they could do, that Bandai could do, and I'm not saying they're going to do anything like this, guys. I'm just saying it'd be nice if they did. The next thing is they could send us products. I mean, what would it cost them? What would it cost them? And then that'd be a way for us to plug, you know, like, hey, man, Bandai hooked us up with this, guys. Check this out. They really care. You know, it would show that they really care. And what would it cost them? Pennies? You know, because think about it. Yeah, we buy a product for like, let's just say it's $100, right? Well, to print all these cards and for the packaging and stuff, it probably cost them like a grand total of $10, you know, like if you were to somehow translate the value out, because it's just shiny cardboard at the end of the day, guys. What puts value on these cards is like supply and demand and things like that, the rarity of cards, the, you know, the uniqueness and the playability of some cards, you know, if like a certain card's just popping off in the meta, it's all that kind of stuff. But for them, at the end of the day, they just like, they print what they print and they send it out. It doesn't cost them all that much because they literally are just printing out shiny cardboard and packaging it, right? It's the secondary market that inflates the values into oblivion, right? So like the least they could do is send us product. Like that'd be the second thing to do. We'll call that tier 2, right? The bottom tier thing they could do is just plugging our channels, right? The second thing they could do is just sending us a little product here or there. And then of course the third thing they could do is something like what Flesh and Blood did. And I don't expect them to ever do that. But hey, I guess like the third tier for One Piece would be, what if they hooked up some of their bigger content creators with a case? Like, is that crazy? You know? I just think that'd be awesome. I think that'd be really cool. And then that'd be something, again, where we could plug the channel, but who knows? I'd have to look into more like of the logistics behind that. Like maybe there is some type of legal thing they'd be trying to stay away from, like donating. It's almost like donating at that point. Who knows? I have no idea how that all works out. But I wish there were more signs, excuse me. I wish there were more signs that Bandai really cared about the community. Sorry guys, my fingers keep getting in the way of the camera lens over here. I really wish there were more signs of Bandai showing some actual care for the community. Now, I'm not saying they don't show any signs. I know some people are like super, I don't want to say emo, but some people are super exaggerative, hyperbolic about things like Bandai doesn't care at all. It's like, well, no, they clearly care in some way, shape, or form, because they do reprints, right? They actually do reprints. And remember, they're just selling a box for whatever the box costs. All the extra money is made like in the secondary market, right? Or however you want to say that, like on TCG Player or Card Market or whatever. They just sell a box for a standard price, like MSRP or whatever you want to call it. They get their cut from that. And then whatever it sells afterwards is up to distributors and sellers and all that. So they clearly do care in some ways, right? Like, you know, introducing the rotation, I think that was a sign that they cared. I know some people don't like the idea of rotation, but it still shows they care about the long-term health of their game, because that's going to help new players get into the game and start off, you know, hitting the ground running and being able to have like something that's a little bit more like, how would you say, like almost like more digestible for a new player to get into the game, where it's like, okay, cool, I can actually start here and start building on my cards from here, and over the course of 2 years, I'm fully caught up and I'm good to go from there, right? Or over the course of 3 years, whatever it is in this game. So, like, I do think they clearly care. Let me just say it like that. I actually think that Bandai does care. Even if they have a weird way of showing it, I do think Bandai cares. Okay? So, let me just wrap those 2 points up by saying this, guys. I just wish Bandai would keep doing what they're doing as far as what I've seen recently. Like, if they just sponsored a video and that is legit, I want to see Bandai do more of that for content creators. I'm not saying I necessarily need it, but hey, it would be nice, guys. Now that I do, you know, now that I started doing streaming this year, I opened a box on stream. Like, I'm trying to start doing that once or twice a month now. What if they threw a box my way? What if they threw a box a bunch of different content creators' way? Again, it would be a way of showing the community that, like, okay, Bandai actually cares. They didn't have to do this. You know what I mean? And again, at the end of the day, let me say this, guys. I'm not trying to come across as whining, because Bandai's not obligated to do anything we're asking for right here, right? It would just be cool if they did. It would show they really do care about the community and their content creators, who, like I said, basically advertise their game for free, right? I'm not asking for any kind of money. If they want to give that, I'll take that too. But no, I'm not asking for that at all. I'm trying to say, like, hey, Just throw us a product. Like, hey, a new set's coming out. Or here's another thing. One more thing I wanted to mention. I almost forgot about this. Going back to Flesh and Blood. Here's how they show their content creators and their community that they care. Number one, like I said, they actually are doing this grant thing to like help out people in that way. And number two, they will send content creators spoilers. And they will say, hey, this is a spoiler. You get to see it before anyone else. And I want you to release it on this day. Like, you know, make your video for the spoiled card on this day. Now, of course, Bandai literally can't do that just yet because we're not caught up with the East. The West is not caught up with the East yet, right? But we should be caught up within what? I think sometime April next year. Well, once we're caught up, I would love for Bandai to be able to do something like that. Maybe pick like their 10 or 15 biggest channels and, you know, biggest YouTube channels and be like, hey, how would you like to show off one of our cards we're going to spoil on a certain date? Would you like to be the first one to show that off? Everyone be like, yes, well, I'll take it every time. It's like free content for the day. And it's just, again, it's a way of showing the community and showing the content creators like, hey, we actually do care. And again, guys, let's not be all like negative in the comment section. And again, I'm not trying to be that way either. We're just trying to give ideas to Bandai. Who knows? Hey, Bandai, if you're listening, these are just free ideas out to throw out. Hopefully you guys can try something or figure something out from it, because it would just be really cool. It'd be really cool if they did that, and it wouldn't cost them any money. See, that's the thing, right? It doesn't cost them any money to do this. It doesn't cost them anything. I guess technically to give a box away, that is like monetary value. But hey, okay, give us a card to spoil. Once we're caught up, that's going to take time. That's going to take about 6 months or so to catch us up, right? Hopefully they catch us up by that time. But that can't happen right now. That can happen in the future though. So give us cards to spoil, things like that. Or how's about like, you know, give us you know, like I said, send us product to review and stuff, so we can say, yeah, Bandai sponsored a video, or excuse me, sponsored a product for, or I guess, yeah, sponsored a video by sending us a product. That'd be really cool. Hopefully they continue to do that. And I think that's about all I was going to say on that. Okay, now moving on from there, we got one more thing to talk about: commentating. So guys, I think it's Play TCG or something like that. Hopefully I remember to put that up here in the corner somewhere as well, something on the screen showing that there's been a casting call that's been sent out on X or Twitter, whatever the kids are calling it these days. Y'all know I don't keep up with all that junk. I do have an Instagram and a Twitter that I never go on, but someone, I think it was, I think their name, so I got to give them a shout out. Their name was Matty Boy, I think their name was. They DM'd me on Discord, and they said, hey man, I know you were interested in commentating. Check this out. And they sent me something showing that, okay, Bandai's about to, you know, or I don't want to say Bandai, I think it was Play TCG, but I think they're somehow associated with Bandai. I don't know, guys. Y'all help me out. Something like that. Basically sending out a casting call like, hey, we're looking for commentators. So, guys, you know I applied for that. Now, number one, what do you guys think about seeing me commentate? And number two, for anyone out there listening, if you have an X or a Twitter, whatever it's called, like I said, I can't keep up with it. If you could give me a shout out, I will link something in the comment section, basically a link to, you know, the Twitter page. If you could give me a shout out in the comment section saying, hey, we want to see the VV Theory be a commentator. Because guys, this would be for like regional or higher level events. And that would be awesome. So I've mentioned this before. In fact, I think I mentioned it in my last Truck Talk video last week. I think I was mentioning, like, guys, I don't really want to be a competitor. A commentator? Yes. Content creator? Yes. Competitor? No. I don't want to compete in the game. I'm in a different place in my life right now. I don't really have that competitive itch, that competitive drive right now. And who's to say it won't, you know, no one knows. It might come back in the future, right? Who's to say it won't come back in the future? But we're not there right now. But commentating, that really piques my interest, right? Like my ears perk up when I hear like, oh, commentating. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, let's do that, right? That is something I'd be very interested in doing. I think that'd be really cool. So, guys, that's really all I was going to say on this point. It's not even really a point, is it? I'm just throwing this idea your way that hopefully I get accepted into that. It is an entire, like I had to fill out a application form saying, hey, do you want to be a content creator, or excuse me, a commentator? What are your credentials? This, that, and the other. And guys, it would mean a lot to me. It would mean a lot to me if you could hop on X, Twitter, whatever it's called, hop on there, and like I said, I'll have the link in the comment section below, and if you could throw a good word in for me, say, hey, we need to see him on here, that would be awesome, guys. That'd be killer. I'd really appreciate that. Well, guys, that's about all I got for you today. Pretty short and sweet one today. you know, these truck talk videos are meant to be like that, though, right? They're meant to be like a quick little 20 to 30 minute video, just kind of going over whatever the topic is for the day. All right, guys, hope y'all enjoyed that. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And as usual, guys, if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please don't hesitate to put those down in the comment section below. And let me say one more thing, guys. I don't want today's video to be seen as negative, or I don't want people to be, you know, complaining too much in the comment section below. If you have another idea of how Bandai could help out or show they care about the community, because like I said, I do think they care, guys. Otherwise, I don't think they would do anything like, you know, anything good for us, right? The reprints, that was a big deal, guys. Introducing rotations, catching us up with the East. These are a big deal, and they showed that I think they actually do care about the game. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there, guys. Let's try to keep everything positive. If you have any cool ideas for how Bandai could help us out, give us some ideas. Brainstorm down in the comment section below, because guys, you never know who's gonna be listening to these videos or watching them or reading the comments in the future. You never know. I do gotta say one more thing. I'm sorry, guys. I gotta say one more thing that's just popped in my head. I really wish they had more like representation in the West, right? Like some type of like guy we could go to, like the Bandai rep for the West or something like that. Or if they do exist, maybe I just don't know it. Anyway, I'll leave that there. All right, I'm done. Hope y'all enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. Until next time, peace.